The Rollei XF-35 rangefinder camera is an interesting camera because made between 1974 and 1980. The body was built in Singapore. It's a rather well-made metallic body, some plastic parts, and the lens was made in Germany. It's a 40mm f2.3, quite luminous lens. 5 elements in 4 groups. Really good rendering. It's a Sonnar lens made by Rollei in Germany, but it's a Carl Zeiss design. Really interesting camera. You globally automatic for exposure. You can set the speed here. You also have B, but it's quite limited. You have a timer, self-timer here, which works quite basically like any other camera of the time. And yeah, the settings are interesting because it's going to be automatic. You'll have aperture set automatically between f2.3 and f16, and also speeds between 1/30th of a second to 1/650th of a second. So it's hard to gain control, but the results are quite good. We're going to see a few examples. What else? You have, of course, the ISO settings here. You have an indication of what frame you're on your film here. Underneath, you have the button to release the film, to rewind. Not much more. Let's go through a few examples. I've tested first Flick Film Electra 100 film, which is basically Kodak Aerocolor 100 ISO film rolled into a 135 canister. The first picture on the left, that's in Geneva, was a sunny day. First thing we see is the rendering is really nice. Exposure is good. Picture on the right, that's in Oslo. A very different setting, but also strong lights. Again, the exposition is good. The rendering of the lens is really nice. It's got some character, very good definition. Here again, one picture on the left where it's a clear day, it's a snowy day, not much contrast. Otherwise, the composition is quite strongly lit because of the snow. Worked great. On the right, it gives us a good idea also of that geometry. Works well under this stronger contrast situation. Nearly no vignetting. Yeah. The picture on the left is in Oslo, the one on the right is near Zurich in Oerlikon. Next 2 pictures, slowly as usual with my examples, my tests, I go with light situations going down, first color, then black and white. And here with less light, we see that definitely lower lights are also well managed. When I was using it, actually, it's hard to understand if the camera is doing something right or not. It's the quality feedback is not that clear, but obviously it works well. Inside lights too, that we can see on the picture on the right. Good exposure management, and it's a mix. It's a hybrid thing between exposure time and aperture. But yeah, the camera gives you an indication when you take the picture of the aperture, but it still didn't feel quite reliable when I used it first, but the results are here. Again, here, even in high contrast and facing the sun, really well-controlled flares. Good rendering also. The exposure time was good. Same thing with lower lights on the right. And you can see the halo around light sources is really nice. Good rendering too. And overall, yeah, the optical performance is good. Everything seems pretty fine. Precise tool. And here again, by night, 2 pictures by night, where when I was actually taking the pictures, I was wondering, I was like, oh, the camera probably is going to mess this up. It didn't feel right, the sound it was making, but yeah, the exposure is good. And yeah, thanks to that quite open lens, it's a pretty luminous lens, but still, and again, the rendering is great. Yeah, I honestly have to say I was quite surprised. And that's the black and white film I used. Here it's SFL Tasma T42 400 ISO film. I didn't use very standard films for this review, but good enough in my opinion. It gives us a good idea of the result you can get with this camera. Again, it's a precise rangefinder, feels pretty comfortable. I really wasn't sure what was going on when I was taking the pictures because of this weird aperture, auto aperture and exposure time system, which you don't really have a control of, but yeah, works. Here are two other pictures where you can see even with closer framings, with focus distances a little bit closer, the rendering's great, even in more complex lit situations. And the picture on the right gives you also a good idea of the bokeh, the close-up bokeh on the camera. One thing to point out also is the camera is very reactive. Here I was waiting for the train, took the picture when I wanted to take it, really good reaction time. It's mechanical, but even so, you don't feel that sure when you haven't used the camera yet. Works. Here again, two pictures with lights that are becoming lower. Again, great overall. I really had on both films a very high rate of good pictures for me, which I didn't expect. Picture on the right, the sun coming on this, the end of day sun coming on this facade. Great. And here two last pictures. Really great in low lights. I was very surprised as the color pictures in low light. And on the right picture, I've tried it with flash. Seems to work. Didn't extensively test it, but the scene's not interesting per se, but that was one of the pictures I took. Yeah, it's a really surprising camera to me. It had a good reputation, but yeah, when trying it, it's a robust tool, very reliable, obviously, on those two first examples, well, those two first roll of film. Very interesting camera indeed. This lens is really the strong point of this camera. Actually, the automatic settings for aperture and speed work pretty well, as we've seen. This camera was also sold with a flash. Here's the flash, quite simple, as most flashes for those type of cameras at the time. You have a small slider to change the sensitivity and the power of the flash, and then basically you put it on here, up on the shoe. And that's about it. You have this small LED light that will tell you if the flash is ready, and then you're all set. So, very interesting camera indeed. And yeah.